I'm hoping that Jonathan Ashworth can hear me now. He's the Labour MP for Leicester South and the Shadow Paymaster General. Jonathan, lovely to see you this morning. I hope you're keeping dry for us.
I am trying to keep dry. It's very wet here, but I can hear you, and it's lovely to be on the show with you this morning.
Well, likewise. So let's talk about your general election betting then. It's not gone very well for you, has it? It's not going to be a May election, so you're going to put some money on a November election then?
Well, I think I'll put some money on a Tory leadership election, frankly. Isn't it absolutely chaos what is going on? And if you look at what's happened in the last 10 days, we've had the Rishi Sunak unveiling a £46 billion unfunded bombshell, a bombshell which threatens the state pension as we know it because it severs the link between your national insurance contributions and the pension you get at the end. Just silver voices yesterday in the Daily Express warning that this could mean to a means-tested pension. We've got the Tory party being bankrolled by £10 million from a racist and refusing to give that money back. Tory MPs.
Why would you want to give the money back to a racist?
Talking about Rishi Sunak. Sorry?
Why would you want to give £10 million back to a racist?
Well, they shouldn't hold on to that money, but I just think this shows that Rishi Sunak is not acting in the national interest. It's reckless, it's irresponsible. He should name the date of a general election and stabilise matters. At the moment, he's more preoccupied with his own leadership and saving his own skin than governing in the national interest. And I think after 14 years, this is a pretty discredited government. He needs to name the date. I mean, but if he doesn't name the date soon, we could have a leadership election soon.
All right, well, perhaps. But at the same time, why haven't you put down proper, solid policies? I mean, you keep on telling the electorate to wait until you come up with your manifesto. There's been so much flip-flopping from Keir Starmer that people don't really know what Labour stands for. What does Labour stand for, Mr Ashworth?
Well, we stand for growing our economy, raising living standards, not just in one part of the country, but in every corner of the country.
How are you going to do that? More tax, more spend, or...?
Well, I'll tell you one of the things we're going to do. We're going to help get people back to work. We'll start by fixing the National Health Service, where there are 7 million people on a waiting list. Many of your viewers will be waiting longer and longer for treatment, whether that's to see a GP or to get the operation for a hip operation or a knee operation or a hernia, perhaps. That's because the Tories have mismanaged the NHS for 14 years now. We're going to create more appointments in our NHS.
But how are you going to do that financially, Mr Ashworth? I'm trying to establish whether the Labour Party are going to have to put taxes up if they want to increase government spending. I assume you do want to increase government spending, first of all.
We do want to see an injection into the NHS because we need to get the NHS back on its feet, because your viewers
how are you going to pay for that?
The best quality treatment. Well, we were going to pay for it by getting rid of a super wealthy tax break called the non-doms. The Tories have now adopted our idea. They've copied our idea.
They've shot your fox on that one, haven't they?
Well, they haven't shot a fox as such, but they've completely revealed that it's the Labour Party leading the battle of ideas and that we're the party with a plan. And
but the trouble is now, you haven't got that money, have you now? Because you had said that you were going to do lots of different things by scrapping non-dom. You don't have that money. So how are you going to pay for all of the pledges that you're going to make? That's what I'm trying to work out.
Yeah, and it's a fair question. And Rachel Reeves, our Shadow Chancellor, she is not casual with taxpayers' money. She knows people work hard and pay their taxes, and they want that money well spent. So we're responsible.
So you're not going to put taxes up?
We're going through the books, and we're going to tell you how we will fund those commitments. The Conservatives, in contrast, have made a £46 billion unfunded commitment, a bombshell, and they won't even tell you where the money is coming from. Well, I'll tell you where the money's coming from. It's probably coming from more tax on pensioners. It's probably coming from severing the link between contribution and the pension.
Rachel Reeves has said that she wouldn't reverse this NI cut. Your own Shadow Chancellor has said she wouldn't reverse this NI cut. So are you at odds with your own Shadow Chancellor?
No, there's two things going on here. Because we've long warned that the tax burden on working people is so high. I mean, Rishi Sunak, I think he increased tax 25 times, didn't he? People are really getting hammered out there. We've said where tax cuts on working people are sustainable and affordable, we support them. But what the Conservatives have said for the future is that they want to introduce a £46 billion unfunded bombshell. It severs the link between contribution and your state pension entitlement, and they will not tell you where that money is coming from. Is it borrowing, with all the pressure that puts on mortgages? Is it cuts to the NHS? Or is it a new payroll tax?
But my point here, Mr. Ashworth, is...
Will pensioners have to pay it?
But this argument doesn't hold up, does it? Because Rachel Reeves has said she supports this bombshell that you're talking about. She supports the cut to NI.
No, we're talking at cross purposes, Camilla. There's been a national insurance change now. If that is sustainable and affordable, that will have our support. This is about the future. This is about the future.
Okay, so in the future,
for the next 5 years.
Okay, so in the future, are you going to put national insurance up then? Are you going to put tax up as well?
No. What we are talking about is the Tory plan. They are saying they want to introduce £46 billion worth of a commitment, and they cannot tell you where the money is coming from.
But you can't tell me where your spending commitments are going to come from. You can't tell me whether you're going to put tax up or down. We've got your Green Prosperity Pledge. How about we try and nail this down? What is the current status of the 28 billion Green Prosperity Pledge? What's happening to that?
We are not. As you know, we're not spending 28 billion. But
that was your own figure.
We are making you this promise. We will tell you how we will fund all of our commitments. The Tories won't even make you that promise. They will not even promise to tell you how they're going to fund.
I understand this whole, I ask you a question and then you ask me how the Tories are going to fund their promises. I'm going to ask Mark Harper that in just a minute. So you can leave that part of my job to me.
I will look out for it.
What I'm asking you, Jonathan Ashworth, is how you are going to fund your spending pledges.
And I will tweet it when he fails to answer.
OK, please do. I love it when you retweet my material. But my question to you is, how are Labour going to fund...
Camilla, as you know.
I know you do. How are you going to fund your spending pledges? Because the trouble is, you have committed a load of different policies to scrapping non-dom. But you don't have that money anymore. You've also been pledging a lot to the windfall tax. So how are you going to make up the shortfall that you thought you were going to have to get that back, that non-dom money? There's a black hole in your plans here, isn't there?
On the non-dom issue, Rachel Reeves has said very clearly, we are going through the books line by line, and we will come out and we will publish how we are going to fund all of our plans. We'll account for every penny piece. Mark Harper cannot give you that commitment when he comes on your show in a few moments.
But you can't even tell me whether you're going to cut taxes or whether you're going to increase spending. You can't even tell me whether you think tax is going to come down or go up under Labour. You can't even tell me that right now.
Well, tax and spend are matters for our Shadow Chancellor. And of course, we know that the Conservatives are hoping to have another budget before a general election. They're briefing that. And we will want to look at the books very carefully, because we are not irresponsible with the public finances. We are not casual with the public finances. We saw what happened with Liz Truss when you adopt a casual approach to the public finances. So I make no apologies for being prudent with the finances and wanting to go for everything, every single item, every penny piece of expenditure, line by line, because people work really hard.
Can we talk about Diane Abbott?
And they want a government that's going to be spending their money carefully.
Can we talk about Diane Abbott? Is it going to be prudent to have Diane Abbott back in the Labour Party? I know Angela Rayner is calling for it. Keir Starmer isn't. So it seems there's a bit of a... that there are odds, the Labour leader and his deputy, on this issue. Where do you stand on it?
Well, there is an independent process. I'm not going to second-guess that independent process because it is...
What do you think, though? What's your instinct? You've been in politics for a long time.
I mean, I have been in politics for a long time, despite my youthful looks, and I also know that these processes, when they are independent, it is not appropriate for them to be pressured by politicians. And that's
lots of people think she shouldn't be allowed back in the party because she's made what some think are racist remarks about Jewish people. So what's your instinct on it, John? You've been around the block a long time. Do you think that Diane Abbott should have the Labour whip restored, yes or no? It's a really simple question.
Well, it's quite right. Well, it's quite right that she had the whip suspended and a process began, and that process needs to take its course. And I'm not going to second-guess or pressure that process because it's an independent process, because that would not be fair.
Why is this taking so long? I mean, it's so straightforward. Should she be in the Labour Party or shouldn't she?
I'm not going to... you're going to keep asking me the same question, and I'm going to keep saying to you, if
Well,
it's an
I do.
independent
I mean,
process,
if you don't answer the question, I can only assume you don't have an answer for it. But I don't think I'm asking you anything complicated here. Do you think Diane Abbott is a woman?
You know what you're
she's
doing.
a woman you've worked with for
Camilla.
years. Should she be back in the party?
Camilla,
what's your personal opinion?
You do know what you're. You do know what you're asking me. I'm telling you it's an independent process, but you keep asking it me because you know that you'll get a Twitter thing saying, no, you can answer the question. But the reality is it's an independent process, and it has to be, that's because it's independent. It's nothing to do with me. And if it's independent, you shouldn't try to pressurise it from outside. That's the point of it being an independent process.
All right. Well, how about an independent process into Angela Rayner's second home? Would you advocate that? We've still got questions to answer about whether she's paid an inadequate amount of capital gains tax. So should we have an independent inquiry into that, and then we might get some answers?
There's no need to say the word independence with a hint of sarcasm.
No, I love an independent inquiry.
It's important that these processes take their course. On Angela Rayner, as I understand it, I think she said, I don't know if you were at she did an event with the press on Thursday. I wasn't there, but I read the comments that she said she'd taken expert advice and the matter, she doesn't need to pay anything and it's all resolved.
It's not resolved, though, is it?
I understand she said.
But it's not resolved because there are still reports clamouring for her to explain herself and a seemingly unexplained potential capital gains tax bill. So it's far from resolved. That's why she keeps on being asked to answer questions about it. Why doesn't she just answer the questions and then the matter might be resolved?
Well, she did an event with the press lobby on Thursday. I don't know if you went to it, where she did answer questions on this and said that she's taken advice and the issue is resolved.
All right. Final question on this VAT on private school fees. I'm surprised that somebody like you, and I know you very well, would be supporting this policy, which seems to me to smack of sort of Corbynista politics of envy nonsense. Are you really seriously backing this, even though it could displace, as far as the Independent Schools Council is concerned, 40,000 private school pupils? You want to take these pupils out of their schools, away from their friends, and accommodate them where in the state sector exactly?
Well, as you know, the public finances are a mess, thanks to the 14 years of the Conservatives. A mess particularly because of what the Conservatives did with the Liz Truss budget, 18 months or so.
Yeah, we're talking about private school VAT, though.
I know, but we're going to have to make some tough decisions. We're going to have to make some tough decisions, and one of those tough decisions is to levy that VAT on the private schools fees and use the money to fund an expansion of mental health provision, because we do know there's a huge problem.
Well, you're going to have to use the money to expand classrooms, aren't you? Because you're going to have 40,000 pupils at loose, possibly come September, if their parents preemptively are going to take them out because they think they can't afford the fees. So where are you going to put these kids, in temporary classrooms?
I'm not sure about that. I don't agree with that. I think that is exaggerated, frankly. I don't think we'll see that mass exodus from private schools. I do think, though, we do have to make some tough decisions, and that money will fund an expansion of mental health provision in state schools for the majority of children.
All right, Jonathan Ashworth, thank you very much indeed for braving the weather to speak to us this morning. It's been great to speak to you. Thank you.